Everybody, what's going on? One second here. Right there, looks good to me. Alright, so in this video we're going to talk about the mojo rig. So this is something I've never talked about on my channel. But this is a rig that a lot of people like to throw. It works a lot of the time on spotted bass places and clear water places. A lot of people like throwing those or these type of rigs in the spotted bass water and on the clear water type fishing lakes and ponds and stuff like that. So what is a mojo rig? So if you know what a Carolina rig is, which I'm going to do a video on that here soon, but if you know what a Carolina rig is, it's a weight up a long line and then you have your hook. That's essentially what a mojo rig is, but it's a little bit lighter, it's a little bit smaller. It's typically used with a spinning rod or a light bait caster. And today I'm going to be using the rod that I'm using this with is the Alpha Shakespeare rod with a Shakespeare agility reel, 12-pound monofilament line. This is a medium rod. Works a little bit better with stuff like this, stuff like soft plastic jerk baits, small Texas rigs, and stuff like this here, which is the mojo rig. So what do you need for the mojo rig? Well, you need a hook. Now, typically I would use a smaller hook than this. More than likely I'd be using a smaller rod than this. But with this type of rod, I would also use a bigger hook if you're going to go with a bait caster. This here is the 4-aught. I think it's made by Eagle Claw. 4-aught EWG by Eagle Claw. Preferably, I like using the Superline Gamakatsus, but the Walmart around here does not sell them anymore. They used to, but they don't anymore. So this one here will work. Any EWG hook will work. You can also use straight shank. I had one right here. Oh no, that's not it. There it is right there. You can also use these type of hooks here. Just normal round bend, straight shank hooks. This is a 1-aught, a little bit light for the bait caster I'm going to be throwing, so I got a 4-aught. Probably not even going to be using this rig, honestly. Probably just going to cut it back off and retie something else on it. But figured why not go ahead and show you how I tie it and everything before the video. So you need your hook and your line. Go ahead and tie that on. Go through your eyelet once. This is the knot that I've always tied. I've always tied this. This was the very first knot that I've ever was shown. You go through it once, then you go back through it the same way. You grab your tag end and your loop. You keep your loop pulled down and you pull your tag end up towards your main line. You wrap around. People have different ways of doing it. I normally do it 5. 5 or 6 is always good. You can get away with 3 if you're using a smaller diameter hook, or if you're using bigger line, you can get away with 3 twists. And it's tough. It's a tough knot. Now let me go ahead and grab my cutters here. Don't have my normal cutters with me, but these here will work for the time being. So that right there is what it should look like. Hopefully that'll zoom in and focus good. That there's what it should look like though. It's a very strong knot. I've broken rods before I broke the knot using 10-pound test line. I've literally broken rods before I broke the knot or the line. So it's a good knot. It's a really good knot. Tied right, you shouldn't have any problems. So go ahead, take that, and you get your split shot. So this is your weight. This is, oops. Well, crap. One second. There we go. Finally got it back. Take your split shot. This is just a normal, traditional split shot. I think it's an 1/8 ounce split shot. A little bit big, but using this bigger stuff with the bait caster, 12-pound mono, and 5-aught hook, or 4-aught hook, you'll want a little bit of heavier weight. So depending on how clear your water is, if it's like 4 foot of visibility, you may want to go up like maybe a foot, 16 inches. Traditionally, I usually go about 8 to 10 inches. Bite that down, or you can use pliers, which is a lot safer for yourself. But right there, that's about a good, that's actually 9 inches exactly. That's actually a really good measurement tool. from the tip of my pinky to the tip of my thumb is 9 inches exactly. And that right there is just about perfectly 9 inches. So right there, that's the Mojo rig. Now the baits that you can use with this rig. So I got 4 of them here. One of them you'd use with the lighter setups with like the 1/0 hook, you know, the little tiny 1/0 hook, tiny little split shots. And that is the 4-inch Ultra Finesse Worm. Little finesse worms like this can work with the lighter Mojo rigs. But this one here, Doc's Lure Company, 4-inch Ultra Finesse Worm. Great little bait right there. This color is black. Looks like it's black with some silver, blue, green flake, all kind of flake in it. Then I got this here. This here is a very common bait that people use. This is the Doc's Lure Company 7-inch Wrangler worm. It's a ribbon tail worm. It's 7 inches long. Perfect bait right there because with that weight, it gives it a very slow, more of a methodical fall. And as it's falling, it has no big bulky bullet weight or a jig head or anything like that. So when the fish grabs it, it's almost weightless to them, and they don't feel that heavy weight of a, you know, 1/4 ounce jig head or a 1/2 ounce bullet weight or anything like that. They just feel kind of the weightless bait. And with that tail, that ribbon tail worm right there, as it's falling, that ribbon tail is just kicking up a bunch of water and making a bunch of commotion and giving that fish a lot to look at. And that fish will run over there and destroy that thing. Next, a lot of people like using soft plastic jerk baits. This is the Doc's Lure Company Drop Shot Minnow. Name doesn't matter, honestly. I just called it that because the first fish I ever caught with it was on a drop shot. But drop shot minnow, perfect for this technique because it's a very slow, methodical fall. Something I like about this bait is when you swim it, that tail, having the wide tail right there, it has a very slow, very finesse kind of a tail kick. It almost looks like a small, super finesse swim bait. That tail just kind of quivers back and forth and looks awesome in the water. And something on this rig right here, that there would be awesome on it. That there is the Junebug color with green and purple and blue flake. Awesome bait right there. And then last but definitely not least, something that people all around the world fish, and the Mojo rig is something that a lot of people fish them with, and that is the stick bait. This is the Doc's Lure Company 6-inch boom stick. Awesome bait. This is black, blue, silver color. Might have a little bit of green and purple flake. It actually has all kind of flake, honestly. It's black magic is what I call that color. It has all different types of flake colors. Just like the green pumpkin magic, this here's the black magic color. It has all different kinds of color flakes in it. Red, blue, purple, green, silver, all of it. So that right there is an awesome bait as well. If you guys want to purchase any of these baits, these are made by Doc's Lure Company. The ribbon tail worm, the 7-inch Wrangler worm, you can get 10 of those in a pack for $4. The drop shot minnow, you can get 10 of those in each pack for $4. The 6-inch boomstick, you can get, if I can find it on my list, there it is. You can get 8 of them, 8 6-inch boomsticks for $4. And then with the little tiny 4-inch finesse worm, this is the 4-inch Ultra Finesse Worm. The reason why I call it Ultra Finesse Worm is because it's so small. You can get 15 of these in one pack for $4. Perfect for just about anything. If you're a creek fisherman or a small pond guy, that right there will catch fish for you all day. I've caught giant bluegill. One of my biggest bluegill ever was caught on this using it on a drop shot. I actually have that same rig right here, I think. I had it right here. Right there it is. If I can get it untangled from the lipless crankbait, which it doesn't look like it's going to come untangled from the lipless crankbait. One of these days I'll get it. There we go. That right there, 1/4 ounce weight with a tiny size 1 drop shot hook. Caught one of my biggest bluegill ever on a 4-inch green pumpkin magic Ultra Finesse Worm. Crazy, but it works for bluegill, bass, and all kinds of stuff. So, how you rig a Mojo rig? Pretty simple. I'll go ahead and rig it up on the Doc's Lure Company boomstick. So it's basically a Texas rig, just without the bullet weight or peg. So how you would do it is you take your hook, you go straight into the head of the bait, right straight into the center. You guys can see that right there. It's right in the center of the head. You go up to the point, or the point of bending of the hook. You guys can see that right there, where it starts to bend. If you pull it back down, where it starts to bend right there, you go all the way up to that. Then you pull your hook through, you go all the way over, you flip your hook around, go up, and then when you get to this bend right here, right there, you get to that bend, then you twist it around, pull it up, and something I do is I'll pull it over the eye of the hook, and what that does is that'll protect your knot. If you're fishing any heavy cover, that'll protect your knot a lot because it's got that rubber on the outside of it. Then you take and you measure out where your hook's going to go. Go ahead and just stick that in there right straight through the center. And then depending on where you are, if you are fishing a lot of heavier cover, you can go ahead and what I think everybody calls Texpose it, which is basically just push the hook point into the bait where it is completely weedless. You can run your finger across that all day and you're not going to get hooked. I mean, you're not going to get hooked like that. That'd be if I was to do that with a bait caster. If I was to throw this with a bait caster, I would definitely Texpose it because it'll give me a little bit more weedlessness. But if I was throwing it with a spinning rod, I would definitely keep that hook just a little bit out of the plastic. Honestly, the reason why is better hookups and also a little bit easier to handle with a spinning rod. So the retrieves with this, depending on what you're fishing, you can fish swim baits with this as well. I just didn't put any swim baits in here. You can fish this with the, I don't have one without a jig on it, but you can fish this with the Doxer Company 3.5 gunner. You can also fish this with the 4-inch swim bait as well, depending on who you are. I don't personally fish swim baits on these type of rigs very much. Usually just use swim bait hooks, but if you want to, you can. You can swim it, depending on the bait you're using. You can drag it really slow on the bottom, and you can also just hop it, kind of like you would a Texas rig or a jig. But that's basically what it is. You got your line, little split shot, a little bit of a leader, which is not really a leader because it's still your main line, down to your hook and your bait. So there it is, you guys. I hope you guys learned something today. The Mojo rig is not a super popular bait. It's honestly, it's kind of one of those baits that some people use and some people don't, because it's just not a very famous bait or a rigging technique. It's not like, you know, you can go out and catch 10-pounders all day with this type of rig. You can. I mean, if you get on one of those bites where you can catch them, you know, you can catch those giant fish on finesse baits like this, you can definitely catch a 10-pounder on this. Not going to say you can't. I mean, that 10-pounder could eat this. He could eat anything. You know, all of a sudden he sees that little bait sitting there in front of him. Easy meal. He picks it up. Boom. You caught a 10-pounder on a Mojo rig. And now everybody's going to start fishing them because you caught that 10-pounder. But it's not a super famous rig. A lot of people may have never even heard of it. Some of the people that are watching this video right now may not even know what it is or may have never heard of it. But yeah, that's what a Mojo rig is. It's kind of like a Carolina rig, but a lot easier to set up and a lot more finesse and easier to fish. I've caught fish using a Mojo rig, and I definitely have never caught a fish using a Carolina rig. I hate Carolina rig fishing. But that video will come out soon. I'll make a Carolina rig video. Even though I hate using them, I will make a video on it because I do know what it is. And I vaguely know how to fish them. I just can't catch fish on them. But yeah, thank you guys for watching once again. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Please share this video out to all your friends on any of your social medias so I can hopefully get to 1,000 subscribers where I'll do a huge giveaway, including some of the Doxer Company boomsticks, the 4-inch ultra finesse worms. It'll probably have just about everything in it. So yeah, thank you guys for watching again. Bye.